What's up guys, in this video I'm going to tell you how to price a rehab when you're doing a walkthrough of a property. I'm Dan Cohan and let's get right into this. So you're trying to buy your first fix and flip or rehab deal and you're absolutely clueless about what things cost, how to estimate repairs, and how to price a deal and know how to take that against your purchase price, your repair cost, and to eventually your ARV and make a good estimation of how much money you can make or lose on a deal, because you have no idea how to estimate repair costs, probably because you've never done this before. That's all right, neither have I. We're standing right here in my first real rehab deal, and going into this, me and my partner, we have never flipped a property before. So how do we determine if it's going to be a profitable deal or not? Well, a few different ways, and you can do the same exact things too, like I'm going to tell you in this video. Keep in mind, I'm not an expert. I'm just going in, and I only, admit to being just a couple steps ahead of you watching this. But learn from my what we've done so far and how we've estimated so far, and I'll give you updates in later videos. But just looking around right now, we're about a week or two into this project. You can see here, there's a bunch of demoed stuff. We've got demoed doors. We've got demoed, they've torn the windows out on this place and replaced them with newer windows that are actually going to keep the house, insulated in the winter and the summer. So the utility bills won't be so high, they're going to be secure, all that good stuff. So this is a pretty small place. Let me just walk you around and I'll kind of go through, how we walk through, just like we are now, and estimated, how much this deal is going to cost. I'm going to use this real life example and tell you how we estimated it. And that way you can take our example and the strategies I'm going to tell you and apply it to properties you walk through. So this deal is a very small 700 square foot, 2-bed, 1-bathroom house. Got a living room, got a kitchen, bathroom behind me, 2 bedrooms. We'll walk through all of this. And basically we wanted to start small. The purchase price on this deal was $60,001. Okay. Now, that's the purchase price. That's pretty fixed. This is listed on the MLS. So there's your anchor point for what your deal costs. So the other two variables in this algebra equation are what is the estimated rehab cost, and then also what is the ARV or after repair value for this property once it's all fixed up and move-in ready. Okay. So those are the two things that going into a walkthrough you have to figure out. Usually you're going to know how much the purchase price is, maybe not if it's an off-market deal or somebody that wasn't meaning to sell but you wanted to buy it, right? So these are the two things that you may not know how to figure out. Okay, so let's go first to the first thing that we figured out, which was the estimated after repair value. Now thankfully my partner is a real estate agent and he was able to help me, but you can access real estate agents and they will help you for free because the sellers pay their commissions. And real estate agents will be happy to tell you the comps in the area around the property you want to buy and tell you what similar properties sold for in the last 6 months. And that will give you a good estimation of what the after repair value or ARV of the property is once it's all fixed up and move-in ready. So that's how you determine the ARV is comps. So for this property, based on the comps, based on the area, a variety of factors, all that good stuff, do your research on your area, walk the property, walk the neighborhoods, check it out, get a vibe, look at comps, and you can get it. So we arrived at a $135,000 ARV. So we bought the house for $60,000. It's worth, we estimate $135,000 when it's all said and done. And so you've got about a $75,000 difference in there for the profit and the rehab cost part of the deal. So let's go ahead and walk through this other room and I'll continue on to my next point. So in here, again, we have more destruction. This property is in the repair rehab phase right now. It is a Saturday, nobody's working on it. And so let's get on, and before I go to the next point, how we estimated the rehab cost, go ahead and drop a like on the video right now, hit the blue button to motivate me to finish this project and give you more information. Okay, so we're in one of the other bedrooms right now. Now, how did we estimate the rehab cost on this property, right? So we have $75,000 between the purchase price and the estimated ARV, and we went into it and we basically, my partner, he kind of has a general idea of what things cost because he's worked on, never done any rehab himself, but he's been a part of homeowners and stuff that he's sold. that have wanted to do repairs and various things on their houses before or after he bought them. So very, light understanding of what things cost, but not really. So what we did is we went through the property and we went through it, and then also in addition to walking through initially, we went and got a contractor, and we actually did this on the back end, but what you can do is when you walk through a property, you can get, you hire your trusted contractor. If you need to find a trusted contractor, referrals are definitely the best way to do that. Ask in Facebook groups, ask realtors, go to hardware stores, go to lumber yards, and ask them, who comes in here all the time and is buying stuff, or who would you trust to work on your house, things like that. Okay, so with that, from previous experience, I have a contractor that I wanted to work with. But with that, we also got 2 other contractors to come out and give bids. So what we did is we kind of had a general understanding of the property, right? And we knew that, rough estimation, it probably cost, around $30,000 to $40,000 to rehab this place. Now, what's wrong with it? We've got, obviously, internally, the whole interior needs to be redone, the floors need to be redone, the walls need to be repainted, windows need to be fixed, the roof needs to be repaired or replaced, the bathroom needs to be redone. Coming in here in the kitchen needs new floors. It needs, needs hardware, it needs the cabinets painted. It needs, washing machine for the dishes. We're gonna build some shelves over there. And also the deck needs to be worked on a little bit. And so, going through, you can, with a little bit of just like looking at stuff, you can be like, okay, what am I trying to do here? So for us, that's also another thing you got to think about is what is your goal with the property? So there's really 2 main goals. You're either going to try to sell it once you're done with your flip, or you're going to try to rent it when you're done with your flip, okay? And that is important because you're going to do different things depending on if you're trying to sell it or if you're trying to rent it, because if you're trying to sell the property, your buyer is going to want different stuff, maybe a higher level of amenities and different flooring. Like you may want to put, if you're selling it, you may want to put like carpet on the floors, right? Or you may want to put in nicer fixtures or something that's like nice, or that's got more like curb appeal to an extent in your property, and invest more money in it if you're trying to sell it because you're competing with other properties on the market. But for us, and the other option is we're trying to rent it, and so we are going to do things that we want to not put as much money into the property because we're trying to get a return on our investment over a long period of time. And we're also going to try to do more things that we're more interested in longevity of components of the house and durability than perhaps aesthetics or things looking nice or things like that, because a renter is not going to be as concerned with those things, whereas a person buying a property is. So definitely keep that in mind to make sure to inform whoever your contractor is of your desired outcome, because they will choose different finishes and different flooring and everything differently depending on what your eventual goal is. Okay, so how do you actually estimate the repair cost? So here's what we did. All right, I'll tell you what we did and what you can do. So ideally, we would have gone through initially when I first walked through the property before we got it under contract, and we would have taken with us our trusted contractor that would have probably worked on the property. Would have taken him with us on the walkthrough so he could go through with us and line item, like a contractor that's doing this all the time, they can very easily, estimate, a general range of what this thing is going to cost, right? With the things that they know are going to need to be worked on. And so what you can do is you can walk through the property with a contractor, and they can, right there in just a few minutes, probably give you a good estimate of what needs to be repaired. You got a roof that needs to be fixed, floors need to be replaced, the price per square foot, all that stuff they're going to know, right? So we weren't able to do that. We needed to, the property came on the market. You have to act very quickly, especially now. So what we did is we kind of had a general idea about the costs, and so what we did is go ahead and put in an offer with basically a back out clause that allows us to get out if we're not satisfied with the inspection. So it's basically a get out of jail free card. If we go in and inspect the property and the bids come back too high for the rehab, we can just be like, hey, we didn't like it, we're out, right? So it's almost a risk-free deal. You could potentially lose your earnest money, but if you do your contract right, then you basically have zero risk. So that's what we did. So we put in a contract, we put in an offer, and in our contract we had a contingency clause to back out if we didn't like what we found in the inspections. Okay, so we got the property under contract, and what we did is we went out and we found 3 contractors that we liked and that we either had a relationship with, or we had referrals from other investors and stuff and had them come out, and we had a 10-day inspection window and had them immediately come out and walk through the property and give us bids on, we made a list, we did our own list about everything that we thought it needed, and then we also went and had the contractors, we walked the property with the contractors and they would point out, okay, it might need this, it might need that, and like, okay, add it to the list. Then we tell the other contractors, right, put this in your bid, because you want to make sure when you're working with your contractors, if you're getting multiple bids, you need to have an exact sheet of line items that you want to be done, right? Everything needs to be in writing, and every contractor needs to have the exact same list of stuff that needs to be worked on, because if you don't, you're going to get a bunch of different bids for different things, and you're not going to be able to accurately compare prices. We did that with our contractors, and we got back 3 bids. 3 is usually a good number to, pretty accurately not only estimate what it's going to cost, but also so you can pick the best bid with the best price, but also the best terms in terms of timeline that they can get it done. And so you can judge if the project is going to be profitable or not, what the best contractor to go with, and if this is going to be worth your time to do this deal. So we got all those back. Long story short, estimate's probably going to be, between $35,000, $40,000 in a repair. So let's just take our top number. You always want to be conservative to limit your downside, and get your lowest number so that your expectations are correct, and any extra on top of that is just gravy money. So let's just say the property costs $60,000, repairs are going to be $40,000, property's worth $135,000 after it's done. So that means that we've got a $35,000 profit margin in this deal. So that, in essence, is how we calculated the repair cost of this property. We simply went to a contractor that know what they're doing. They know how to estimate these costs, and we just leveraged their expertise, got multiple bids, multiple opinions, and they told us, roughly what everything was going to cost to fix on this deal to get it rent ready. Now, the next question you may have as a bonus answer is how, if we're going to rent this out after we fix it, how are we going to make that $35,000 profit? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So what you can do is, after you buy a place, you can, and you fix it up, you can refinance it based on the new after repair value of the property. So typically a bank will loan you up to 80% loan to value. So basically 80% of $135,000 in a loan against the property, basically taking out a mortgage after you already own it, and against the property that's now newly repaired. It has more value, it's in better condition, and you can basically, instead of selling it and having to pay taxes and realtor fees and everything else, and now you're out of a rental property, you can instead refinance it, basically get almost as much money as you would have selling it, and you have very little cash in the game, cash in the deal tied up. You have all your money pulled out, all your repair costs pulled out. 80% of 135, I think it's like $108,000. So you pull out all that money, and now you have an asset that you can rent out and collect rental income from, and you have all that money to reinvest in other deals. All right, guys, so I hope you learned something today. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below, subscribe for more value, comment if you agreed or disagreed. I'm Dan Cohan, and I will see you in the next chapter.